Very cool. For a lot to talk about this weekend as there was the super clash. Maybe it didn't go as planned, but the match still happened and there was a result. The results maybe surprised a lot of people, but there will be repercussions to that. We'll be getting deeper into the game and as to whether the goalless draw perhaps is the biggest indication of where Ghana football is at the moment. And then we'll also continue to talk about the various leagues in Europe as well, with the Premier League ongoing, the battle for top 5, La Liga. The title race looks like it will go down the wire. Then we'll also touch on the Under-20 Africa Cup of Nations with Ghana drawing their first game against DR Congo. We're doing this amongst other issues here on Sports Ultras. I'll be introducing my guests right after this. Welcome back. You're still live here on Sports Ultras. My name is Oriel Kwampofo. It's a good time to introduce you to my guests, two very familiar faces. One, maybe you've heard his voice a couple of times in the show, but I think it's his official debut in studio. I'm not too sure. So it's his first appearance here in the CFM studio, and that's Emmanuel Owusu. He's popularly known as Little. We'll be introducing my guest pretty shortly, and then we'll dig straight into it. But welcome, guys. There's Mutala Yakubu Akosia J, and then there's Emmanuel Owusu as well. Welcome, guys.
Thank you, Riku.
How's your weekend been?
Not bad. Full of action. Like what we witnessed at the Accra Sports Stadium. Back to back.
So, let's not waste too much time because you guys are looking down. And I suspect that's from anybody who went to Accra Sports Stadium, their spirit is down. Mutala Yakubu, how was the game? There are some no games that are spectacles. And there are some no games that you ask yourself, why on earth did I watch this?
Well, I think it was an interesting one, but there were so many, negatives that I can pick from both sides. It looks like there's not been much improvement from both teams, especially Hartlepool. All season, their biggest bane or their Achilles heel has been about goal scoring, and they've not been able to solve that. Though Kumasi Asante Kotoko created the better chances in this game, Hartlepool also had one or two chances where they could have made it count, but then they squandered it. It was a game of low quality, if I can say that. This is not the quality and the standards that we want to see from both Hartlepool and Asante Kotoko. Someone will also talk about the fact that there was a lot of chances in the game. It was a 50-50 affair. But no, if you're talking about the quality of other leagues as compared to what we see from the two biggest clubs, then this wasn't good enough. For Asante Kotoko, it may be a point gain because, one of the teams they are competing against, that is Bibiani Gold Stars, lost. So they will take solace from the fact that they gained a point. For Hartlepool, their fans were left disappointed. We spoke to a number of them after the game, and clearly you could see the outrage from them because they wanted to beat Kotoko. It's been a while Hartlepool had a good game or beat Asante Kotoko. Last 2 seasons, it was a double over Hartlepool. So they wanted to make amends. And with Prosper Ogumnot at the helm of affairs, they felt this was an opportunity for Abubakar Ouattara to get his first win against Asante Kotoko. But I think the poor finishing from both clubs is the reason why this game ended in a goalless draw, because they had so many chances, especially Asante Kotoko. Albert Amwa, Kwame Poku, they should have at least been a goal in this game.
Well, Mutala believes that there should have been a goal in this game. I'll come to Emmanuel Owusu, who was at the stadium. Akosia, let's talk about the ambience, the stadium attendance, the feel before the game. Do you think enough was done, in your opinion, for such a huge game?
Well, enough hasn't been done for a while now, and that mostly has to do with what the teams themselves have to do. Because when you're talking about going to watch the Super Clash, the number of indices that you would put in consideration to go is when you know that there are certain star players you are going to watch. Usually they are the ones that sell the games. You'd know that you are going to the stadium. Even very recently, you're going to the stadium to see how Felix Annan will be able to save balls against Hartlepool, even Dan Ladd. At a time where Kumasi Asante Kotoko even gave an appearance to Enim Kujo to play in the Super Clash. Even though it was few minutes he had in the game, but it was exciting for the Kumasi Asante Kotoko fans. After that game, he had so much money from the fans to say that they loved their players at the time. In the Super Clash, I don't know of any player that you would say you were going to watch that player to think that player will be the star man in the game, that player will be the one creating the difference. So even if you make the noise about the game, what exactly are you making noise about? Is it about is it about how the players are going to play? Is it about how you will see the coach on the sideline issuing instructions and the commitment you would see in the coach? Is it about that? Because I've seen, even though I did not watch the late Accra Hartlepool coach Sir Jones Atukwefio, but I have seen a video compilation of his during one Super Clash where I don't think he sat throughout the game. And that alone was a reason why some fans wanted to go to the stadium. Accra Hartlepool today played almost 3-4 minutes with 10 players. I don't know if people realize one player was going to change his boot, and they played 10 players, almost 3 minutes. If that is any indication of the importance of the game, let that be the reason why I would say that, okay, people are not even serious about the game. The fans are not serious about the game because their team itself, their coaches, their players, they don't take it as serious and as important. Because if you do, when you get into the 18-yard, you are not indecisive about what to do. It's Kumasi Asante Kotoko and Accra Hartlepool. Why are you indecisive? If you're making short passes, you are putting a lot of passes together to progress the ball, and once you do that, you should know who should be the final man to make that final strike. And we were not seeing that. Even when we spoke with the people, the traders, the kebab man, like, people are not even buying. And he was selling the kebab for 20 cedis. Last time he sells that kebab for 50 and 30 cedis, and that one still people buy. But he said he's even reducing the price. After the game, I still went to him again, and he had lots of stuff, and people had just left. People started leaving at the 85th minute. The ambience was down. At least you know that where the fans usually set to sing or give them morale, they will be there. But you didn't feel it as we did, say, 5 years ago. Because right now, if you want an atmosphere to depict a Kumasi Asante Kotoko and Accra Hartlepool game, you can't get it in the last 4 years. You would probably have to go back 6 years. And we're not creating that good atmosphere because we don't have the players to project to say these are the players you are going to watch. These are the things we would expect that they'll do. There were times where Accra Hartlepool, even warming up, after they warm up, they had this dance they do. That alone was the reason why somebody will come to the stadium very early, because you don't want to miss the warm-up and that little dance they do. Yeah. Or whether it was Patrick Wazak having that powder all over his face when he comes. All those little antics and things that they used to do that people really liked. Nothing. We just went, watched some 90 minutes. At least Mutala Dems were watching me. I was just everywhere watching 90 minutes on the pitch with a lot of oohs, ahs, and nothing like a goal happening.
Emmanuel, before I come to you, I'm used to calling you little. Why am I calling you Emmanuel? My biggest concern is even before the ball was kicked. I think that there's this pandemic around Ghana football where the big players, the stakeholders are out of touch with reality.
Yeah.
And what confirmed it for me was the mere fact that Hartlepool, together with whoever sat down, decided that the tickets for a popular stand for this match would be 50 Ghana cedis.
When Black Stars game was 10 cedis.
Ghana Black Stars, your national team.
It seems struggling to win the game.
It played at the national stadium just less than 2 months ago. Charged 10 cedis for popular stand. 10 cedis.
At a point, the gate was open freely for supporters to come in.
Yes, there was a point that even the gate was open freely. But Hartlepool Hearts of Folk that have been out of form, technically out of the title race, decided that despite all that's going on in Ghana, the difficulties, they will charge 50 cedis for a popular stand ticket. Why do we act surprised that the stadium was almost empty? Why? Because what would we expect? Even the Black Stars, the national team, struggled and needed to open a free gate when it was 10 cedis.
Politicians bought thousands and thousands
to give it out for free.
Gave them out
and that's what
free.
I do not understand. How does our club or a big club like Heart of Folk not expect this and preempt that? No, Ghanaians cannot afford 50 cedi take. The average House of Folk fan will not even take out 50 cedi. Even if they had, they will not, because they're not happy with the team's performances.
But the few that came around were complaining about the price.
Yeah,
they even complained.
You cannot be tone deaf. You cannot be tone deaf to some of these things. And that's the truth. If even the clubs outside, Man City, after winning 4 in a row, their fan associations complained about ticket prices, and the club responded last week.
Yeah.
So you cannot pretend that you are charging 50 cedis because it's this game. And you see, in the end, imagine you charged 5 cedi for this. The people that you'd have probably drawn into the stadium will be more than what you got for the 50 cedis. Because in the end, how many people even came to the stadium?
That's true.
If you went around selling this for 5 cedi and went to schools and various high schools, Legon and technical institutions and all of that, were going around the streets and selling it for 5 cedis, at least I'm confident that you would have got more people into the stadium. And I don't even think effort was put into marketing this game.
And that's my problem. Even though the clubs will hold them responsible, but I still think that the FA, who the product belongs to them, need to do something about this. You know, after the Black Stars abysmal performance, when we failed to qualify for the AFCON, we were on courts playing against smaller clubs. Yeah. Chad against Madagascar, but they still decided to let these players speak to the media and Ghanaians. You see Inaki speaking, you see Kudu speaking, a lot of players. The FA, understood why they allowed the coach at that crucial point when Ghanaians were calling for his head. They still allow media houses to interview the coach, sell out his game plan to the supporters. Reason why they should come and watch Ghana, because this is the World Cup. They made Ghanaians understand that we need to go there. What is the FA doing about their products, the Ghana football, or the Ghana Premier League? Did you see them? Mostly Shaban goes around speaking to coaches, players about games. Did you see them doing that?
No, you see, my point is that the FA can put, and this is one part where I don't even want to blame the FA, right? Yeah. Because I feel they are in charge of policy making. They can say, the FA can say that it's an obligation that you would do a press conference before the game, submit a captain and a coach. When the clubs decide not to do it, the FA can only fine. And I saw them do that to Division 1 clubs. Yeah. And I think Kotoko did a presser before the game. Karim Zito spoke before. But some clubs don't.
But that's not enough. Right.
No, but you see, what do you typically expect? Does the Spanish Federation hype El Clasico?
Yeah. They don't do. Our league or our clubs administrators are failing to appoint the right people to lead their clubs. Have you checked about branding of various clubs?
Exactly.
It is
exactly. So I think the clubs play the biggest part. Like it is your team. When you sell the tickets, you get majority of the money. You have the home team.
I understand. They definitely need to enforce the clubs to do the right thing. They submit their documents to them before the league starts. Do they check through that they have appointed the right people for the various positions they've assigned them to?
No, but look. Let me.
That goes a little bit.
I won't necessarily blame. I understand that the clubs fail to do.
The FA will have their part to play, but in match organization.
Yeah, I'm just looking at this match in isolation, right?
They have to
because
for the price, it was totally wrong.
Yeah, let's not pretend that Ghana football in the past 4 or 5 years has maybe been the best in Africa, but even in our West. Super clashes 3-4 years ago, we are feeling like it's not a big problem. Even House of Folk Olympics was 20,000, 30,000 people in the stadium.
Did you check the performance of House of Folk?
And it was just
no. So House of Folk have never even
during some of this time they were playing very, very well.
Even the point is that even when they were playing well in that 2-3 years since 2019 to 2022, they only won the league once. So let's not act like Hearts were dominating, winning back to back. I just think that
do the right branding, and a case in point is the Black Queens.
Yeah.
3 years or 2 years back, they started playing well. Their creative team started doing so much work on how to put the players out there. And surprisingly, you go to watch women's games and then you see a lot of people watching Black Queens game. And it was surprising.
Yeah.
But it was also because, one, they intentionally made sure they were putting everything that they had to put about the girls out there. It wasn't just about the match result. You would see videos of players and where they play, and players talking about themselves, what they do, which position they're playing, even to sometimes explaining some of the things they do on the field for you to know that, okay, these players really understand what they are doing. The intentionality of it was there.
Yeah.
So when we were watching them play against Zambia at the Accra Sports Stadium, people trooped there in their numbers.
It was whose decision to do that thing?
It's a national team. So who do you want to do that?
This is the product of the FA. This is the biggest fixture for the FA. You need to make sure that even the clubs fail to do
for
it.
the Ghana Premier League
For the FA.
as well. Yes.
So if the clubs fail to do it, you need to make
let's say
sure
Kurt
that
was
you
at
need
the
to make sure that
stadium.
you insist
organizer of the league?
they do it.
The organizers of the league are the FA.
Yeah.
But it has to take a conscious effort from the clubs. That is why our clubs do not even have sponsorship, because they are all sitting aloof,
Waiting for what the FA will bring.
the FA to bring broadcast money from Star Times or whoever to share to them. They are not going out there and speaking to corporate Ghana. It's not part of their plans.
Yeah.
They do not have the right people in place to manage their football. Go to Heart of Folks page right now. You won't find a single.
didn't post a
image.
picture.
You won't find a single picture from
Did you
today's
watch
game.
their pre-match conference with Kwesi Yasma? He was standing behind a bus with so much ambience. You can't even hear what he's saying.
Oreku,
They
I
just posted it
am
out.
on Heart of Folks page right now on Twitter. You won't get a single picture or a video of the game. I even captured the only chance that they have in the game from Asari. We have it on the 3 Sports GH page on Twitter. They don't even have it.
So what the FA also can help the clubs is they should make sure that they enforce them to appoint the right people. I mean,
No,
this
but
is
the,
the product of
the FA cannot come and hold your hand and tell you that post pictures.
The FA can put. You know one thing about clubs. You know one.
Force them to appoint the right people.
To some extent, because the FA
Nah.
did
This
that.
is
the brand
The
of-
FA
I've
did that
never-
for the women's league. The FA did that when they were rebranding the women's league. They made sure that all the clubs had people who knew something small about social media and what to do. So
How old is House of Folk?
well,
No, I'm asking you simple. How old is House of Folk?
1911. They're over 100.
You're over 100, and you want FA to come and hold your hand to post picture on social. Come on, now. Come on.
You can organize
Come on.
training for these people.
I'm not
But they
going
do
to.
sometimes.
I'm not going to tolerate this
These-
at all.
these
You're more than 100
big
years
clubs,
old.
they won't even allow the FA to even come in. They are running their clubs. They will tell you to organize your league. They are running their club. They choose who they want to appoint to a certain position.
Exactly.
If Heart of Folk want a social media person and they go and appoint someone who did engineering.
Yeah.
Do they
To
even
that
have a social
position,
media guy? Do they have?
Yeah, they have. He was even standing behind me.
That's why
The FA cannot do anything about it. It is Heart of Folks' sole responsibility to appoint somebody to that position. The FA will just tell you that this about 3 positions are available. Appoint people. Who you choose to appoint there,
it's not there.
whether the person is competent enough, the FA doesn't mind. But I feel our clubs need to take a conscious effort of promoting themselves.
Because that's how you
promoting
make
their
money.
game. Because the organizer would always organize the league. They will leave it for you.
Yeah.
Because you don't expect the FA to come and hype the Super Clash for you.
Look, if you blame FA for not paying referees, 100%.
Yes.
That is not the club's.
That is not the
wahala.
club. That is the sole responsibility
But
of
if
the
you tell
FA.
me that you cannot hype your own match that come to play at home, that the
the
tickets money will
biggest
come to
one.
you.
The biggest one.
And then they who lost?
Alright,
Do you know when the
I
tickets came
understand
out?
everything
Do you know
you're
when the
talking
tickets
about.
came out? It was yesterday.
That is set table.
Yes, that they were selling advanced tickets at the Accra Sports Stadium. If you're a club that is seriously run, you start hyping this game right after your game against Karela. Then the focus shifts to Asante Kotoko. You make a lot of noise about it. You even some may even go to the extent of even doing a float just in town that they are coming to play Asante Kotoko. For a whole round, they are able to say that you didn't even know that the Super Clash was coming on.
Can you imagine?
Someone who is a media person through and through, and I can confidently say that Randy Abe is someone that goes on social media all the time, but tells you that he didn't even know that the
He
Super
shouldn't
Clash was
even go
coming.
on social media all the time. He's FA.
No, you make
through
a conscious.
and
Aweko, I've told you something. We are in this country,
But
a club like Heart of Folk signs Sule Muntari. They couldn't even put Sule Muntari at the Accra Sports Stadium Media Center for him to sign jerseys so that they sell the jerseys for 50 Ghana.
I agree perfectly with all that.
Our clubs are not doing enough to help themselves.
I understand, but I'm saying that.
If you see, the organizers will not mind you. Theirs is to organize, to get you a referee to officiate the game. Theirs is to ensure that you follow all the protocols.
Your stadium is okay.
Your stadium is okay.
The pitch was fine.
club licensing have inspected. They will not come and promote the league for you. Even the English FA doesn't promote the Premier League for the clubs. Chelsea promote their own Premier League. They post Enzo Fernandez. They will tell you that they are coming to play Liverpool this week. You will know.
If you want to do compare and contrast, look, let's go on House of Folk page. Let me go on Chelsea's page right now. Mutala. No. I'm coming to show you the difference. No. Little. I'm on Chelsea's page. I'm on Chelsea's page, right?
Yeah.
So there's a full-time graphic, 3-1, 40k likes. Cole Palmer has moved up to their top 10 scorers in PR. There's a graphic. Do House of Folk even know who their top 10 scorers in history are?
So the last tweet from House of Folk is 2 hours ago. Full time, end of game, 0-0. There's no graphic to it.
It's only confirmed that.
And even with their graphics, they've been very
little. You can use Canva. You can use Canva to generate a graphic 0-0. It ends goalless. You are telling me you need FA to come and do that Canva post for you.
One funny thing that I don't know if it is official. I spoke to one Koroko media guy who said that when they lose games, they don't post pictures.
Huh?
That's
because
the policy of the club.
In their mind,
that's the what?
The policy of the club that if they lose, they don't post pictures.
So how do they know they will lose?
I don't.
Because you're supposed to post pictures throughout the game.
Pictures, but they don't post it when they lose, which I don't know either.
Then they just are doing the false.
They can just decide.
Then the fish ship. Then they go put Enzo in face there.
Because I think
ends in defeat.
I don't know if it is really official.
It's not professional.
No, but sometimes
it can be official from the club, but it's not professional.
If they put a player
that
on
is
the
not
poster,
professional.
they abuse the players.
You don't only speak when you
don't
only come out to post when it's going well for you. You are winning.
Yeah, I understand.
It can be official from the club. It can be a directive from the club, but it's not professional.
But you
But
think
you
that
can post
you think
a full-time graphic without a player's face on it.
I understand. Do you think that even all this that we are saying, there was a lot of promo for the game? You think supporters would have gone there to watch the game?
Let me tell you, the
NSA
did more promotion for Heart of Folk than Heart of Folk themselves. The NSA, you see that banner in front of the Accra Sports Stadium. It was mounted by the NSA.
Do you think that?
Yeah.
Ghanaians or football fans would have filled the stadium if all these promos.
And
you've been doing it over and over, but we don't get it.
Until
missing something.
No,
performance is also needed.
Performance.
Our clubs are not performing.
I don't think so.
Let me tell you something. I am someone that believes that.
When was the last time a super clash was played that these guys were top two?
I am someone that believes, even when I was hosting the Ghana Premier League, I always believed that the only tonic for fans to be at the stadium is performance. They gravitate towards performance, and I can give you evidence of that in the last 5 years. A clear evidence was when Great Olympics were performing well with Abekwe and the likes, and Accra Folk were also performing well. You remember that season?
Yeah.
The season they won the league. Yeah. You saw the number of people that even went to the Heart. Yes. But then you need to your performance will not stay up there all the time. Do you know how West Manchester United has been this season?
We are going too far.
No, I'm telling you. Do you know how West they have been?
It's all about narrative.
No, it's about narrative. Do you know how West they have been?
It's about telling a story.
Keeps losing every now and then, but the stadium is still full because they make a conscious effort of promoting the game. And you don't. Why would you increase the prices of your tickets
when you are
at your worst? When you are at your worst.
Mutala, there was the biggest storyline for this game. Heart of Folk hyping this game up to the point where we are missing out on a trophy, but a win against Kotoko.
You're not beating them in a long time.
It's a very
at least stop them from winning. If you win, stop them.
Yes, because Heart of Folk winning would mean that Kotoko are like out.
Oroku, do you know what makes it worse for both clubs? Do you know what makes it worse for both clubs? In time past, you only needed start times to be able to watch the game. Not many people have start times, or you have to be at the stadium. This time it's on about 4 other platforms, free of charge. It's even on YouTube. You just need to buy data and sit there. So someone will think, okay, I'm paying 50 Ghana. I'm coming from Pokwase to the Accra Sports Stadium. I will spend like 30 cedis. I mean, give and take. At the same time, there's Liverpool against Chelsea. It's an option. I can go to the video center, get 1 beer for about 25 CD, sit, cross my leg. There will still be Hearts and Kotoko on the side. I'll watch. I can even get the replay to watch because it's not even interesting in the first place. I mean, there are so many options. So if you are not being conscious about what you are going to do, you will always lose out. I know somebody that called me on Saturday morning that where would I get the ticket? I said, oh, go to House of Folk Media Center or go to the Accra Sports Stadium. You get the ticket. And then the next question was how much? I said, oh, for the cheapest ticket is 50 Ghana. He said, Kai, Medivation Man, you need Brentford. That was what he told me.
I understand. The clubs are not.
And the person is coming from
Kaswa, what they need
Tetegu.
Mutala, the clubs are not doing their best. I
Kaswa.
understand. The branding is very poor. The promotion for the game was so low. But I still believe that the FA should have helped.
How? No, I'm looking at it, and remember, all this conversation is based on one premise: the super clash,
it's
right?
not on the other
The super
games.
clash. The super clash is the game today, and you're saying who fixed the time? You remember after the disaster, we said we won't play House Kotoko in the evening again, right?
Yeah.
So we can't move it to the evening.
But we can still change the time.
To what?
It can play early at 1. So
Why? Why should we play at 1?
To beat competition.
Which competition?
Listen,
There's
if the
competition
game is
ongoing
good,
around.
people will say, well,
So
what?
because Chelsea are playing Liverpool, we are run away.
Not necessarily Chelsea are playing Liverpool. The other games, for instance, this week, Kotoko are playing Become Chelsea. At the same time, there's a Clasico. Which game are you going to watch?
You cannot plan your league around what other leagues are doing.
People do it, yo.
No, but if you are playing, if
otherwise
people
you
do it,
you won't follow your own. You have to follow your own schedule.
when people were trooping to listen, if your games are good enough or there is enough hype, the storylines are there, and you make sure to promote and project the storylines. A storyline of Accra Heart to Folk, not just winning against Kotoko, Accra Heart to Folk being the reason why Kotoko will be out of the title chase conversation. That was huge. That was
I think
big.
Opari started the media talk.
It was huge. It was big. It wasn't just about media talk.
It
was about what you hear the players themselves.
It can't be business as usual with Opari going from radio station to radio station.
I remember when
it can't be business as usual. There's so many content that House of Folk could have generated from their own team.
You have to promote the game. You have a national team player in your camp.
When Maxwell Kunedu was in charge of Kumasi Asante Kotoko, before Super Clashes, he always had this post he will put on Twitter, and that post alone, that he is the pilot at the cock of the plane and blah blah blah, that alone was generating its own conversation, because Maxwell Kunedu was somebody that ever since he took charge of Kumasi Asante Kotoko, he never lost.
Ibrahim Dalad promoted the game more than us Heart to Folk themselves. You know, when we had that interview with him, just after that interview, then former Heart to Folk goalkeeper Richard Atta also started talking that but Dalad believes they will win. He also says they will win, so they should go on a bet that the 5,000 Ghana, whoever wins will take 5,000 Ghana.
At least they all keep their money.
There's so much content Heart to Folk could have generated from their training ground. I remember the year Abednego Tete joined Heart to Folk.
Yeah.
That year, it was a COVID year. Abednego Tete, I say if he hadn't left any legacy at Heart to Folk, that singular act of promoting that match, because he said he was going to posting. He was posting continuously and telling Kotoko that he's going to score against them, and he even became a banter between himself and Kotoko defender Awa Mohammed at that time, where Awa said he won't allow Abednego to score. Like, it was nice. It drew a lot of people to that Accra Sports Stadium. It drew a lot of people to that Accra Sports Stadium. So there was a conscious effort from the clubs to promote their own game. You have Richard Benjamin Asari in your ranks. This week, you could have just gone to the training ground, do a short video of Benjamin Asari saying that Sunday the fans should come and he's going to show
Kotoko. If he said it in Gam, people will say those who don't understand Gam, sorry for you, because they'll be enjoying it. They'll come and hire us to.
But we are in a situation where clubs do not want players to speak before games. I don't know where that ritual came from. Even managers, sometimes if you want to speak to managers before game, they will tell you your coach in a game on Kasao or Kasa tactics. I don't know whether it's enough.
We are at a stage where Intercore is even attracting more interest.
Oh, someone said it at the stadium. Someone said that. He said I was watching the Intercore in Kumasi and it was way better than this game I just watched.
I agree, because the clubs are not doing their best. They don't appoint the right people for the job.
Ope Kotoko social media. Ope had social media administrator with Ijuma Nana.
Oh no, not that. I'm not sure they have. If they do,
They have,
the one there is
little.
not doing it.
The whole week there was no training picture. There was no high video. There was no match day poster. No, I think Kotoko did well small. I went to their page. No, they did well small compared to us. Kotoko did well small. I checked.
Kotoko.
No, Kotoko did well small.
Kotoko.
They had a match day poster.
Kotoko.
They did pre-match.
It was when the Kumasi Mayo visited them at the training. Then they started doing the video for the game. Kotoko.
And Oreku, you remember I told you about the fact that you have been at the Santiago. You have been at the Santiago Bernabeu. You've traveled a lot around Europe and seen how match day feels like an event. It's more like an event rather than just coming to sit down and watch two teams play. They make it an event. You feel a part of whatever is happening. You pay your money, irrespective of how high or expensive it is. You know you are getting some form of paraphernalia. You are getting some souvenirs, water bottle with the club image on. Like you are getting some. You feel a part of it. But this is the case where people. I spoke to a number of fans in the past who told me that they really want to come to the Accra Sports Stadium if there could be a way of even handing them a canned drink or water at the gate when they buy the tickets. It would make them feel a part of whatever is happening. Imagine going to the stadium, you pay 50 Ghana cedi to watch again, then you are given a bottle of water. Mm-hmm. Imagine that, giving a bottle of water with the club's logo on it, maybe Heart of Folks logo on it. I mean,
they don't even sell match day magazines.
No. Those things. No, that's why I'm saying.
What is
I'm saying that
the reason why.
What's the typical match day experience?
Right, okay, so the typical match day experience. Yeah, I was explained that in Ghana, the kebab seller at the back at the Accra Sports Stadium, you need to get one at halftime. Those guys who are hawking water within the stands,
they'll bring it up.
They'll increase the price from 3 cedi to 5 cedi. You need to get one. The only memorable thing that you will leave the stadium with is what you saw on the pitch. Apart from that, you don't have any other experience. Unlike what happens elsewhere.
Even if you do, they'll be very bad ones because at the gates they'll push you small. Then maybe you want to enter the watch.
We don't consciously create that atmosphere.
There should be a constant training by the FA for this class. They need to do that.
No, I don't think it is trainable.
Right.
I think let me say this in Chi. When I went to France, Auxerre is not even know they are a decent club with decent history playing in the Champions League, but they're not like top in France. This is House of Folk top in Ghana and even Africa. Auxerre have a shop that you enter, you must buy. You go there and there's a queue. They are buying jersey. They are buying a scarf. They are stuff with design. Signed this. Everyone is trying to make money.
One club tried it in Ghana. The only thing is that they ran out of cash. But you saw the bars they created, Legon Cities, when they signed us on Valentine's Day. They were sharing chocolate. They had for the first time in Ghana's football history. Since the early 2000s, we had a lot of women trooping to our stadium to watch Legon City. Because when the show was performing, Kwesi Arthur was performing. They even had Shatawale at a point performing because people love entertainment. I think Legon Cities felt that okay, once people love entertainment, it's not the football that they are coming to watch you. Naturally, Ghanaians are not coming to watch you Legon Cities play Kumasi Asante Kotoko. If they are coming, it's for Kotoko. But what else can you give them? Can you give them a memorable experience to leave the stadium? What do people talk about Legon Cities? Is it not how the bars they brought with musicians and sharing chocolates on Valentine's Day? That is how you create the atmosphere. Unfortunately, they ran out of cash.
I mean, I'm saying the model was not the best, but you could get from the idea that if you want to be, if you are different, you stand out. And people actually, their page had like over 50,000 followers in 1 week when they started doing nice graphics. And that's all. People were just clapping for nice graphics.
They don't even have to do that.
Nice graphics. And you see, my point is that although the FA can train, can help, can do everything that they want, you as a club, what are your streams of income? Because if clubs like Man City, Man U are streaming on YouTube pre-match day discussion, it's not because they have to, but because when they stream and you view, they make money. When they post highlights on YouTube, they make money. So you have to think of your league will give you money if you finish higher. The FA will give you money if you finish higher in the league. But how can I also make money for myself so I'm able to run my club apart from just the tickets? When the team, because you see, you only play 4 times in a season. So if the the players are the fans are not coming to the stadium, how can I make money off them?
And recently they are not coming.
You cannot tell me that the average influencer in Ghana is making more money than our clubs from social media. How? House of Folk, it's over 100 years. How are you making an influencer who has been on social media for 2-3 years make money and House of Folk is not? It doesn't make sense to me.
One team
Did the FA train the influencer?
No.
You just get up and you want. If you want to make money online, you will. And that is all me. I'll say to a club. It's not even about whether you should create. You have to want to make money.
I agree.
And it's the digital age. Our clubs have to do.
We need to
better.
upload. I don't know if recently you've checked Media MS.
They are the best in the country right now.
They are doing the right.
They are the best.
Except they should add commentary to their highlights.
They are the best when it comes to Media.
They have to come higher.
When it comes to digital right now, Media, the quality of their videos excellent.
Their microphone is very
handling
good.
Their social media.
Okay.
I don't see
so
that.
little. The thing is,
at House of Folk.
If Chelsea in England decide to go and hire a carpenter to manage their social media, it's not a problem of the FA. The FA can only tell you that you need to have a social media officer, you need to have this, you need to have whoever you appoint to fill those positions. It's not the headache of the head. Up to you.
It's up to leaders at House of Folk don't know the importance of the social media.
Okay.
Because
so
if they do, I'm not sure those work.
I've had a conversation with people who are within the Heart of Folk Club,
and they really understand
who gravitate towards the social media. It seems that a lot of work needs to be done. Yes. They used to have one guy called Larry before he left the club. Heart of Folk had numbers than Asante Kotoko when Larry was managing their social. Heart of Folk were the first Ghanaian club to be verified on Twitter.
Actually.
Second was Interallies. Okay, Freddie was first. Heart of Folk were verified before Asante Kotoko. They had numbers. Larry was doing a great job. But since Larry left, they couldn't continue the trend. And I tell you, there's a lot. People don't even know the Heart of Folk players. We don't know them by faces. They score. We see them in town and we bypass them because we don't know them. We don't know them. A player scores a goal, then you just write goal. You don't have the player's picture there. Goal Hussein. How many people know Hussein? Let's tell me how many people. If we get to circle right now, how many people can be able to recognize Hussein? Say where Hussein or what Heart of Folk?
Yeah, I mean, I was struggling to mention.
You are struggling to mention the name. That is because we don't even project our players. We don't make them visible out there.
The flyer that they use for the tickets,
communications officer catch or say your players they are camera shy. Is it not your job to ensure that the player becomes camera friendly? Even Michael Essien talks. Michael Essien crackasa. They will tell you your player said don't pick us out. This is our player. They don't use this one. I'll get you another person. We don't pick us out. You don't project your own players.
Right. Away from all these, I think Koroko.
And you just take it home for us.
I think Koroko, they need to hold themselves for this draw. We need to blame them. Coach said that they dominated the game, but just as you said, it was a disappointing results. A 0-0 game. You can't tell me that you dominated. At a point, Gold Stars lost at home, a result that many did not predict. Nations was obvious they were going to win against Accra Lions. But you don't play against House of Folk who are struggling to win at home. You had all the chances to kill them, especially in the second half. I don't know why Abetamwa, Baba Yaya, Kwame Poku decided to play around the ball. You see them, instead of releasing the ball to one player at a very good position, they decide to do unnecessary 360. What is the essence of...
Was Kwame Poku injured?
Yeah,
because he looked
later,
a bit lethargic in this game. It was as if he was struggling with an injury.
The last 4 games for Koroko, he has not been performing well.
Oh, okay.
It's been a bad...
Anyways,
for Koroko in his last 4 games. But I think Koroko should have done something better, especially when they heard that Ghost Stars had conceded a goal in the first half.
You should have pushed on.
Yes, and then get away. Now they are leading you 5 points. You need to play against Dreams FC. You travel to Gold Stars. You play against Vision, Media Man. This is a difficult, matches for Koroko. And I think that, honestly speaking, the title host is over. They need to switch, their attention to the FA Cup, which looks more easy to achieve than the league.
Okay.
Even if Gold Stars fail to win it, I don't think it is Koroko. Nation stands tall, and now Heart of Lions are even leading Koroko, and it becomes very difficult for them to win the league. I think they should have pushed harder and get a win against House of Folk. House was very terrible, very, very terrible for me in the first half, in the second half. They were just passing the ball around with no mission. I think that Watari decided to let's entertain the fans rather than scoring, and Koroko should have utilized that opportunity and then find a winner.
Okay, so we've dedicated majority of our time to Super Clash. Shout out to all those who say we don't discuss local football. But let's use our small time left to discuss the others. And let's talk about the first one. That's the under-20 AFCON. Ghana versus DR Congo. Did we get any hint that this team can qualify for the World Cup?
It's the first game. I don't really believe in the team that has been assembled. I believe in Desmond Ofer and his prowess. I've seen the magic that he can do, and he's a fine football brain. For him, I believe that he can qualify. But with all the struggles that the team went through to even come, I still feel there's a distraction in there. You can clearly see there's no cohesion, there's no telepathy. If you watch the game against Congo, you can see it's a disjointed team. And I understand, most of the players that he was eyeing could not come. And even with the players that qualify for the WAFU, it's only 8 of them that we were able to maintain. Now he has a dilemma of knowing Jerry Efie is playing just 2 games and going back. I mean, those are distractions that you don't need at this point. But watching the other games, I still feel Ghana has a chance if we can be able to put ourselves together a bit, be a bit composed, and take our chances, because we had some decent chances in the game against Congo that we should have scored. But clearly, Desmond Ofer has a big job to do because the team lacks something. There's something that is missing about the team, unlike what we saw at the All-African Games and what we saw during the WAFU. You can clearly see that preparation has not been the best. And it's not just Ghana. It's not just Ghana. I watched Nigeria, I've watched Morocco as well. You can see that this whole under-20 thing moving from Ivory Coast to Egypt, most of the teams are not really in shape. And because it's being played outside the FIFA stipulated calendar, most of these countries are still not getting their top players to join the squad, especially Nigeria. They have a lot of youngsters out there who are playing for England under 17 and under 20 that they wanted to call. But most of them are also with Premier League sides who are failing to release them for this tournament. So I believe in Desmond Ofer. I believe that he can still conjure some magic. But with what I've seen so far from the first game against Dr. Congo, Akosia says I shouldn't say Dr. Congo. I should say Democratic Republic of Congo or DR Congo.
Long.
Yes.
They are doctor.
Doctor,
PhD of what?
You know who was Abate that I heard from? Dr. Congo. So I'm stuck with Dr. Congo. But with what we've seen so far, if we don't up our game, we may be left disappointed again of not qualifying for another under-20 World Cup. And I wouldn't fault Desmond Ofer. Everything has been
Out of his hands.
Yes. It's like he doesn't have control over what is happening. You know when you plan your life that this is how you want it to go, and for some way somehow everything that you feared would happen is happening. Not getting players on time, not having the right preparation, a disjointed team trying to put 11 players together to play to suit your tactics and system when you had an 11 already who played in the qualifiers and understand everything that you say. So everything is a bit disjointed, but I still trust Desmond Ofer as a coach who can qualify Ghana to the World Cup.
Unfortunately, we are playing against Senegal in our next game.
Oh, what is unfortunate about a team that couldn't beat Central Africa?
Really?
Senegal, they couldn't beat Central. They didn't look good.
Did you watch that game?
Yeah, I did. They didn't look good. If anything, Central Africa were better in the second half.
Same with DR Congo. They were better than us in the second half. We just
Ghana
Ghana
created better chances.
When we started the
I think
game,
Ghana created better chances. The first half, DR Congo started well. And then Ghana go into its first half. And then the second half, there was this period where we got maybe 2-3 chances that we should have converted.
But later, the later part of the game was being dominated by DR Congo. We were just unlucky. To me, honestly, with the last 20 minutes to end the game, it was all about DR Congo. But I still feel that Ghana can still see themselves through, especially with Central African Republic, being the last game. Even if we should
But it
lose,
won't be easy.
Yes, even if we should lose on Monday, which I don't think we are losing, because with what I saw against DR Congo, the team looked very, very good. Individually, they have that skills. We need to put them together very well. Coach need to sit down with them, talk to them, let them understand why we went there. Find yourself in the last 4, securing the World Cup slots shouldn't be easy, difficult for us. I think we can still manage. We just need to talk to the players, let them know the mission, why we went there. And then Jerry should, calm down. I don't know, it seems he's under pressure. He wants to impress.
He has only 2 games. When you have 2 games...
I said
we have 2 games.
You have unnecessary fouls and coach need to talk to them and let's see. Senegal, they are beatable, but it will be very difficult for us.
Akosia, what was your verdict on the team after the first game? Do you think they can end up qualifying for the World Cup?
After the first game, I just felt really sorry for Desmond, because he looks like the coach who will literally take you to a lot of training, a lot of conversations, a lot of education, because he wants to have a connection with the players to understand every player and how he have to put them into play. So we saw how he played his team during the African Games. That's something that we all would like to see. Unfortunately, when you are calling players and there are clubs in Apollon and clubs in wherever were telling us that they won't let our players come. Like, why? I don't even get it now. Why I'm happy that our under-20 players are applying their trades in clubs where they are very much needed and important. But then again, I'm like, really? These are our boys, like they are our players. Bring them, let them come and play. So for someone like Clinton, when they tell us, oh, he will be playing in a cup final, so we need him, and we wouldn't even allow him to come. Jerry is playing 2 at least, and so it's a very difficult ask for Desmond now. If we want to say that we want to qualify, yes, but it's very difficult for him. Because putting all these teams now, the players now together to play exactly how you want. And we know that with Desmond, when they are playing, he's on the sidelines a lot, issuing instructions. But in that game against Accra, it was more. It was almost as if he needed to be telling people new things every other time. Picking up that draw, good. If we go on to win against Senegal, I think it will boost the players. Their moral, they'll be very, very motivated getting into the final group game, which will also be very important for us. And hopefully we get to qualify. Once again, with what Mutala said, when you look at this team, the only thing that comes into your mind is that Desmond is a very good coach and he should be able to take them there. So maybe we just have to say, in Desmond we trust. World Cup here.
Before you go to later, I don't know, but I'm not too enthused about this team and qualifying for. I love the under-20 World Cup. I always want Ghana to be there because that is where we discovered the likes of Clifford Abuaji. I love it, but I don't know, there's something missing. There's this connection missing between me and this under-20 team because of this whole arrangement
if the team that played in the African Games, if they were the ones in Egypt,
that is what I'm saying.
Will you still feel the disconnect?
No, I feel it's an entirely different team. Desmond didn't get the players that he wants. It's difficult to even blame him at this point because I saw ordinarily I'm quick to go at coaches for not getting the results, but it's difficult to blame Desmond when he calls a player and the players club tells him that but he will only play 2 games. You even ask yourself, so why would you even allow him come? Then it's better you call somebody from Ghana who would be available for the 3 games. But then you are looking at Jerry's quality again and you say, okay, he can help us. By the time he leaves camp, he would have even helped us get 6 points before he leaves. So there's this whole... The preparation has not been apt. And that is what is affecting the team currently. For me... it's difficult, but I still believe. I still have that iota of belief in Desmond of
In Desmond, we trust.
In Desmond, that iota of belief in Desmond, and not the team.
My little worry is that if the team fails to qualify for the World Cup, we have a huge problem with how transition of players have been done for the
these players that they forget if you don't qualify.
If you don't qualify, it will become difficult getting them into other national teams, i.e. the under-23, the Blasters, or other. So that is why I'm praying that we find ourselves by any means and qualify so that we can at least help them with their transmission. Either than that, it will become very difficult. But I still believe Ghana is going to qualify.
Playing this you qualify for the World Cup. But then one 17-year-old now from all the countries he was talking to you about in the interview when he was talking about the players, and like, this player is very good. Someone got injured and he's now fitting in for that person who got injured. Almost 3 players he mentioned who were injured. I think 2 goalkeepers as well in some big clubs there. Then we qualify with this team, and then these other players are now available and he has to let go of that would be hard to watch for this young.
That's why he's the coach, because coaches' excuses are not accepted. Injuries are there.
But in Desmond we trust.
The danger about this particular tournament is that although you think that the best third place team can qualify, if you're looking at Group A already, the team that's third has 3 points, and they will play one more game than you. So whoever will finish third at this point, the team that's third has 3 points. They will definitely get more.
Yeah.
And then in the next group, there's Tunisia, who are also currently third. They have 3 points after 2 games. They probably will increase. Ghana has 1 point, so another draw is not even enough.
Yeah.
You need one more win to ensure that you're in a good place heading into the last game. Because
and a win.
And that second game would be very difficult, especially Senegal also not winning their opening game. So they will come in all that they have. Ghana has to try and win that game. Yeah. Because another draw would mean you are edging closer to exiting the tournament.
Yeah, I think a good thing is that I think we met Senegal last year at the African Games.
But CAF themselves have not really been pleased with the fact that just a month to the tournament, it was changed from Ivory Coast to Egypt, because they said teams had already begun camping, knowing that the weather in Ivory Coast is different. Like everything was prepared towards Ivory Coast.
But I'm not sure it was CAF's decision to.
No, it wasn't CAF's decision. It was Ivory Coast that pulled out, and CAF had no option than Egypt to rescuing us. So CAF themselves have spoken about the fact that they know it is going to change a lot, and these things you might just think it's just the setting that is changing, but it can affect even the teams in terms of their preparation, the kind of training regimes and all that, because they may have even sent people to go and do a recce for them in terms of knowing where they will be and all that. So it plays a part, and you can see the level of football that they are all exhibiting. So far, I can tell you that no team has really been super in this tournament. All the football that they are.
Sierra Leone.
And
they are being accused of cheating because they are good.
You are saying Sierra Leone. We are all talking about Sierra Leone because they are not the football nation one. So we are even being surprised by the kind of football they are exhibiting. And we are also accusing them of cheating as well. But all the countries that you expected to be come with the fireworks, Morocco, Nigeria. Yes, it's been decent. It's not been what we see from them. Nigeria also suffering the same fate. Most of their players couldn't come because it's outside the FIFA calendar. I mean, well, let's see what happens. But I still believe in Desmond.
Okay, Desmond all the way. We have just 5 minutes left. Once again, shout out to what the fool say we do European sports. We are dedicating 5 minutes to European sports. Shout outs. 1 hour. Just 5 minutes. Yeah. So 5 minutes, we're going to talk about the top 5 race in Europe. It's looking quite tight. Chelsea won, City won, Newcastle drew. Nottingham yet to play. But how is it looking like? Which 2 drop out of the race for you? It's either Aston Villa, Nottingham, Chelsea, Man City or Newcastle. 2 of them will drop out. Maybe even Arsenal potentially. I bet they're not mathematically.
Mathematically.
Yes. And it's surprising.
But if they keep losing and drawing games,
they are not going to lose.
So wait 2. Just quickly, let's go through that. Which 2 drop out for you and why?
At this point, I think Nottingham, they've already taken themselves out.
And that would be the biggest disappointment they will suffer.
Yeah.
Because Nottingham Forest at a point it looks like they could even challenge for the title. Yeah. And to drop all the way from the Champions League spots, that would be disappointing for Lulu, because
if you look at the games that was played this weekend, and you're like, okay, Nottingham.
You have to stand.
Chelsea winning like 3-1 against Liverpool. Like, okay, maybe. But Chelsea have been very inconsistent. They can go into the next games and then draw or lose and even fall out. But they are looking more likely to play in the Champions League. So possibly Nottingham, Aston Villa falling out.
Oroku, there's a crucial game next week. Newcastle hosting Chelsea at the same James. That game could really give us a picture of who will drop out. But for now, I think Nottingham Forest are taking themselves out. It looks like Chelsea will sneak in, but it depends on what happens against Newcastle. Because Aston Villa is still lacking in there. Even Nottingham Forest have a game in hand. Remember, they have a game in hand. So next week, if Chelsea are able to get at least something from St. James's Park, then they could say that, yes, they will look forward to the last 3 games and qualify, because that game is very crucial. Last game of the season, Chelsea will play Nottingham Forest away. Nottingham themselves are looking at qualifying. So Chelsea need to get something from the same game. Today's victory.
Right now, Chelsea are like Kotoko.
Yeah,
they are chasing their title with
today's victory was very crucial for them.
Very important.
Even though we predicted a long time ago that before, I think when it was left with 10 matches, you predicted that Liverpool, they are going to beat Liverpool because by then Liverpool would have won the title already. But Arsenal are playing with fire. And that fire could burn you. You may be eyeing the UEFA Champions League, but you could lose both. The fact that you are eyeing the UEFA Champions League doesn't mean you should stay home and drop points.
Yeah.
Because you are just about 4 points away from the teams that are below. Manchester City knows that Charlie is just the FA Cup and qualifying for the Champions League. So that is what they are pushing for. So next week would be very, very interesting.
And
I think quickly is Aston Villa and then Nottingham Forest.
Aston Villa and Nottingham Forest drop out for you.
By the way, Bewation is watching Real Sociedad Bilbao. The game has started. 38 minutes.
Every
0-0.
game,
Toros.
every game Bill has watched. You know, the team that he went to watch hasn't won yet.
Toros.
Iba lost to Mirandes because Bill went there. Iba have lost it. So today, Athletic Club,
United trade.
we'll see whether Athletic Club are able to win, or is the Toros effect.
Toros.
But I'm happy Chelsea are playing big games. I would prefer Chelsea playing Newcastle, Man U, and Nottingham Forest than playing some Leicester, Ipswich. I don't trust them for some reason against smaller clubs. So hopefully they stay in the zone, carry the Liverpool win, motivate themselves, and finish the season
and bring
strong.
Champions League back to Stamford Bridge.
If anyone deserves Champions League,
It's Chelsea.
It is Chelsea more than Man U. We've played 38 games. You want to go and use some 6-7 matches.
Tottenham and Manchester United play Champions League.
You want to do Kululu. We have
United.
suffered for 38 games. If we get to Champions League, you want to go and do Kululu and play some 6-7 matches and then you'll be equal. No. If Man U go there, like Tottenham should go. But before we go, the Champions League this week, just quickly predictions. We've seen first legs. How does the second leg end for you? Which two do you see in the final?
Arsenal, PSG, Barcelona progress.
PSG, Barcelona. Okay.
My heart says PSG, but because I want a podium call for Thomas Partey
TP5
in the CAF Awards.
Yeah.
I just hope that Arsenal qualifies to the
final. And me too.
I think it's Inter Milan and then also Paris Saint-Germain.
They should play Barcelona.
Okay, so Arsenal, Barcelona. And then
Inter and then Paris Saint-Germain. Arsenal, I think it's over for them in the first leg. That was when they needed to, overturn the results. But going to Paris, it won't be good for them. It is over for them. And I think Inter will have their way through to beat Barcelona. It won't be an easy game. I feel it will even travel to extra time before it will be decided. I see Inter and then Paris Saint-Germain going through.
In fact, a go for TP5 in the second leg.
I think
a
I'll
go for TP5.
I think Arsenal will shock everyone.
Yeah.
You think
Arsenal,
so?
Yeah, Arsenal over 10. Arsenal over 10 the results. It feels like their type of year.
You feel or you think?
Everything is a feeling at this point.
Point.
So I feel Arsenal over 10 this deficit and qualify.
Yeah.
And Barcelona also will do magic in Italy. I'm predicting an Arsenal-Barcelona final like in 2006.
Let's go.
And who wins?
Arsenal.
Let's get there first. But that's all that we have for you here on Sports Ultras on 3FM 92.7. My name is Ore Kwampofo. I was joined by Mutala Yakubu, Akosia J, and Emmanuel Owusu making his debut, aka Little. My name is Ore Kwampofo. You can get more sports updates on our social media handles at 3SportsGH. It's goodbye for now. We'll be back again same time next week to bring you another edition of Sports Ultras.